The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher. Chapter 5. The Christmasaurus. A great chitter-natter arose among the elves as they fired a relentless round of rhyming questions at Santa. What type of dinosaur? What's its name? Is it dangerous or is it tame? If it's a girl, can we call her Ginny? Think it's a boy? Look, he's got a thingy. That's enough, Santa commanded, gesturing for the giddy elves to settle down. He wanted to get a better look at the newly freshly hatched member of the North Pole family, who was indeed a boy dinosaur. Thank you, Snozzletrump. Santa slowly walked over to this impossible creature sitting on the floor. The baby dinosaur was unlike any dinosaur Santa had ever seen in any book or museum. At first glance, the dinosaur had deep blue scaly skin that was so reflective and shiny he could almost have been a magnificent translucent ice sculpture. But as Santa stepped closer, he saw that the dinosaur's skin was a combination of thousands of rich colours that made a strange pattern down his spine. Perhaps it was because the dinosaur had been frozen in the ice for so long, or maybe it was pure coincidence. But the pattern on his back looked as if a scattering of large, perfectly symmetrical snowflakes had fallen on his head, and all the way down to the tip of his long tail, which was curled around him like that of a giant, scaly cat. The baby dinosaur blinked, and Santa saw that he was nervous. Santa held out one of his big warm hands and looked deep into the dinosaur eyes, and the dinosaur relaxed instantly. That was one of Santa's special tricks. If you looked into Santa's kind, jolly eyes, all your troubles and worries would melt away like icicles in the sunshine. Santa put his hand on the dinosaur's scaly head and said happily, "You arrived just in time for me to say this to you. Merry Christmas." And as Santa patted his head, the dinosaur's tongue flopped merrily out of his smiling mouth. And millions of years inside the frozen egg, he couldn't have defrosted in a more magical place. Now what kind of dinosaur are you?" Santa said to himself while combing bits of eggshell from his beard. "Snozzletrump, skip to the library, please, and fetch the encyclopedia." "Certainly, your merriness, I'll fetch it." "Ah!" Snozzletrump moaned as Santa booted him out of the room before he could finish his rhyme. Moments later, the elf came back, skipping back in, carrying an enormously thick book on his head. "Right," Santa said, pushing up his brass-framed spectacles. Lifting the book from the elf, he began flicking through the pages. "Let's see, apple pie, big bogies, bigger bogies, candy floss. Here we are, dinosaurs." Santa threw the book open onto the ground for all the elves to see. On the pages were hundreds of illustrations of every kind of dinosaur you could possibly think of. Scaly ones with horns, horny ones with scales, red ones with claws, blue ones with paws, feathery ones with flappers, leathery ones with snappers, meaty-eaty ones, veg-gobbly ones. But not a single drawing or description of the hundreds and hundreds in the book looked anything like the dinosaur sitting in front of them. The elves cried out, "He's not in here, honest, look, he's not any dinosaur in this book." Just then a great-grandfather clock chimed, and Spudcheeks the elf came hurrying into the room, singing with some urgency, "The sleigh is loaded and ready to go. You must leave now with a ho, ho, ho. The reindeer are fed and fit to fly. I've polished your goggles to protect your eyes. The children are sleeping and waiting for toys. We'll look after this dinosaur, won't we, boys?" "And girls," shouted Starlump and Sparklefoot, even though it didn't rhyme. The rest of the 8 elves who discovered the frozen egg all cheered in agreement. Spudcheeks was right. It was time for Santa to leave and do his duty, for it was Christmas Eve, the one night of the year that Santa could not be distracted. Santa nodded and stood up to go, but before he left the room he felt a tiny tap-tap on his leg. He looked down and saw Sprout the elf standing at his boot, staring up nervously, stroking the baby dinosaur's smooth scales. "Santa, please don't leave before you name this Christmas dinosaur," Sprout said ever so sweetly. Christmas dinosaur, Santa said to himself. A wide, merry smile suddenly grew on his face. A Christmas dinosaur. Santa cleared his throat, waved for silence, and in his deepest, richest voice spoke these words. My wondrous little North Pole elves, you must congratulate yourselves, for I believe beyond a doubt a miracle has come about. It's sitting right here on the floor, looking like no other dinosaur. All the elves listened with tears welling in their tiny eyes. It wasn't often that Santa spoke to them like this, but when he did, boy, did he do it in style. He continued, Another year you've served me well, through good times and the tough as well, but I shall not forget the night an egg was dug up from the ice, and here he sits, this nameless creature, with such fantastic festive features. There is just one name for him. Come one, come all, come hear me sing. This Christmas dinosaur before us shall henceforth be known as the Christmasaurus. The Christmasaurus let out a long happy roar, and the North Pole elves replied with a cheer. They sang and danced a merry celebration with their new dinosaur friend long into the night, while Santa delivered presents all around the world. It was a Christmas Eve that none of them would ever forget.